welcome to Action Teacher Video. Video is a powerful tool that teachers are using to reflect on their own practice and to communicate new ideas. In this series, we feature videos produced by teachers themselves and discuss the contents and implications here in the studio. In this programme, we'll be looking at an innovative approach to work experience in Warwickshire College, captured on camera by teacher Ian Eustace and called Work Experience Works. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Ian Eustace. Hello and welcome
Hello.
to the programme. Joining Ian is another teacher with some similar experiences and concerns from Parkside Community College in Cambridge, Anthony Partington. Hello and welcome. I'm also pleased to introduce Adrian Jones. Hello.
Hello.
Firstly, Ian, I wonder if you could tell me a little bit of background to your video.
Trident Technology is the engineering arm of Warwickshire College, and the video is about 3 students from the motor vehicle section who are doing motorsport courses at a foundation level. Later on in the video, you see staff and students combined to do a work placement together. The move from college or school to the world of work is for many students a time of great anxiety. One way to ease the stress and to improve the student's confidence is work experience. The benefits of work experience are widely known, and yet there is still some reluctance from students and some colleges to develop meaningful work experience programs. The student, the college and the employer all need to have similar expectations for the placement to work. The following motor vehicle students describe their last work placement experience.
The company I went to was specialised in rally car preparations, and it was, I was first nervous when I went there. I turned up quite early in the morning, and well, it's the earliest I've ever gotten up, to be fair. And well, I did quite a lot there, being I didn't just make the tea or sweep the floors. I I put in some bucket seats and roll cages and harnesses and most things rally thing you need really. And the thing I most enjoyed doing was actually making the car look nice and getting it ready for when it was going out on a rally. Like cleaning it, polishing it, getting it looking mint. And I think the course that I was on now did prepare me for what was coming, as it were. Because if I thought about it, if you didn't know what you're doing beforehand to go on to work experience, you're still not going to know what to do, where I was here for about 6 months beforehand, so it all worked out. From my work placement, I think I gained a lot of what things really are like in the real world, and what things have to do and stuff like that.
For my work experience, I worked in a truck repair garage. I was quite nervous, just before I went there, in case they told me to do things that I didn't really know what I was doing. When I got there, they welcomed me and that, and I got on with everybody. Helped change a few clutches, did some oil filters, did service checks on the lorries, and went out on some breakdowns as well. I think the thing I enjoyed doing the most was probably the service checks, because you get guidelines to what you're supposed to be doing, and there was people there that I could ask for help. I did feel quite prepared when I was going into there, because I was used to working, in a workshop and that anyway, because of our lessons in the college. I think I gained quite a lot of confidence afterwards as well, because I'd been in a working environment and I really enjoyed it.
For my work experience, I went to a race company that specialise in race car preparation. While I was going there, like driving to the place on the first day, I was really nervous because I didn't know anyone or where anything was anything. So that was pretty nerve-wracking. But after that, it was alright. In the first part of it, I was doing a lot of cleaning work, basic maintenance of the cars, and then the later stages,
I was taking some race circuits, and I was given some pretty good responsibilities. When I was at Alton Park, they gave me like a responsibility of making sure that the right amount of fuel went to the right drivers. Because obviously they will catch a certain amount of litres, and that's to make sure it all went to the right people. And that pretty much gave me the most satisfaction, because I felt important and I felt part of the team. And at the end of it, I was offered some part-time work, which was pretty good, and hopefully that will like build up to go onto bigger and better things. So that's pretty good.
A strong monitoring system is required with this type of work experience, and staff need to be fully aware of the nature of the work involved. Usually students seek their own work experience, but at the Silverstone 24 Hour, like last year, 18 students and staff provided support for 2 different teams.
This is the second Brick Car Endurance 24 Hours of Silverstone. The second time we've been here as BBJG Racing, and the second time that we've had the great support from Warwickshire College Trident Centre and all the lecturers and the students here, with support from the Institute of the Motor Industry as well. So it's motorsport at its highest level, and to give these youngsters the opportunity to actually get in at motorsport at this level is you can't do it anywhere else in the world, quite honestly. And they've excelled this weekend, and in the next 10 minutes or so, the chances are that we're going to be second in class and 18th overall. So it's a fantastic achievement, and the guys have really excelled this weekend.
BBG Racing went on to finish second in class and 16th overall.
Thanks, boys. Couldn't have done it without you, that's the truth. Fantastic. Brilliant. Take it up one day. Don't worry about it. To make a fortune. Many thanks.
Good effort. We'll see you next year. Or we'll see you at Dubai.
Ian, the move from college to the workplace can be fraught with anxieties. How does work experience help that?
Most students, I don't care what sex they are, how big or small they are, have natural feelings or fears when they arrive on the workshop. We can train them in our live workshops. We can give them lots and lots of different cars, but when it comes to the real thing, and especially at the racetrack, that can go out the window. If we can nurse them along a little bit by actually getting them with reliable employers who we can trust, who we feel will give them valid work experience rather than just make tea or whatever, which can happen, we can ease that.
Are there certain anxieties that the students might have?
Yeah, I mean, in Gemma's case, she's quite a small girl, and to go into a truck garage with very large, heavy vehicles and very large, heavy mechanics, it could be a bit daunting. Engineers and mechanics are notoriously inarticulate and generally struggle with new faces. Some engineers fare better than others, and that can reflect on the placement. I was expecting phone calls from Gemma all the time she was there, saying, "I can't do this anymore, come and get me." And no, she liked it. She actually wanted to go back.
I did feel quite prepared when I was going into that, because I was used to working, in a workshop and that anyway, just for our lessons in the college. I think I gained quite a lot of confidence afterwards as well, because I'd been in a working environment and I really enjoyed it.
What factors affect successful work placements?
The employer and the student got to have the same expectations from it. There is no point an employer expecting a student to be capable of working on their own, straight out of the box. The student can't really expect, particularly on the race teams, to be taking the car apart when this is a very expensive vehicle. He's got to become part of that team.
Anthony, what parallels can be drawn here with an area that you're interested in, personalised learning?
Well, there's a need to provide some students, when you're personalising their education, with a more vocational route. That can be older children for whom an academic curriculum is not the greatest way to go. But for all children, I think the more work experience needs to be built in than just 2 weeks in years 10 and 11. And I like this idea of providing them. You said there about something where it was meaningful work experience, not just making tea or doing the filing and that kind of thing.
If you notice at the end of the shot, there's one of the team drivers comes to the students, couldn't have done it without you. That to me proves that that was a valid effort. Sometimes you get students returning saying, well, all I've done was been holding a fire extinguisher. Well, that's no use at all them being there. And I don't think the team benefits from that, and I don't think the student does.
And that pretty much gave me the most satisfaction because I felt important and I felt part of the team. And at the end of it, I was offered some part-time work, which was pretty good, and hopefully that will like build up to go onto bigger and better things.
It's interesting, Ian, this student talks about hopefully getting a job and work placements helping in this process.
Yes.
Is that what they all think?
Some do. Some at the end of the work placement decide, no, I don't want to work with that particular team, it's not for me. Others definitely want to go back.
But work placements can put some people off.
Yes, but that's dependent where they've gone. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You find out things about yourself, whether or not that particular type of work is for you. It may be at the end of the course and at the end of the placement that you decide not to be a mechanic and I want to be a hairdresser or a plumber, bricklayer, whatever. It's not a problem.
That would be useful in schools where we've got often specialised children, you know, at 16 and at 18, and if they tried something out, they might decide to go down a different route and not have to undo that in their early 20s, etc.
That's it.
Anthony, do you think there's more personal learning comes out of that? You know, rather than sort of knowing whether you like changing wheels or putting oil in engines, you know, about confidence.
Yeah, confidence, and also they're working as a team, they're working at speed. There's a competitive aspect to it. I like the idea that they're kind of applying all their knowledge and all their skills at the same time rather than in these discrete subjects as we do even when you're teaching them about something, a particular area of motorsport or car maintenance. But they're having to do everything at once, which is the proper way that things are done in the workplace. So I like that very much.
And I think it's important for the students to see their teachers as practitioners. Some of the comments from the students have been very positive. They do see you in a different role.
On that very positive note, I think we have to end, but I'm sure that this will provoke much more discussion. You can, of course, find out more from our website at teachers.tv. It only remains for me to say thank you to our teacher producer, Ian Eustace, and guest, Anthony Partington, and of course, Adrian Jones. Please join us again on Action Teacher Video. And in the meantime, from me, Xanthi Steen, goodbye.